edicts. So don't worry. How we know about all these things? So the edicts of Ashoka. You can see another image of, this is a rock edict. This is a pillar edict. Ashoka has installed these pillars on various important parts of their territory, and on these pillars they are inscripted with various orders. I will show you. Here we can also found a residual of some stupas. These are also pillars. This pillar is presently situated in the Qutub Minar complex of Delhi. Though this was established at Meerut and Topra in Uttar Pradesh, but later in Sultanate period, Firoz Shah Tughlaq moved these pillars from that place to the Delhi. Another image was, no. Well, okay, now. So the important things in is policy. You have to must remember these two words. One is Dhamma Ghosh and one is Bheri Ghosh. Bheri was a musical instrument generally played during the war. Okay. So historians describe these things that before adaptation of Dhamma or before Kalinga war, Ashoka's policy was Bheri Ghosh policy. That means the war policy. He expanded his territory again and again continuously. He fought various battles one by one. He killed lakhs of people. But after the Kalinga war, when he adopted the Buddhism, he announced a new policy named as Dhamma Ghosh, that now I am working to spread the Dhamma. I am not working for the war. Is it clear? So you have to must remember these two words. They are very important. Now, what is Dhamma? Another fact is Upagupta. Under the influence of Buddhist monk Upagupta, he embraced Buddhism. That means he is the monk, he is the saint who make Ashoka a Buddhist person. Okay. So, to spread the teachings of Dhamma, Ashoka appointed officers. Now, why Ashoka promoted all these things? So, Dhamma was not any particular religious faith, as I told you, nor a royal policy that was developed at random. It was an earnest attempt of Ashoka to solve the problems of society and to create harmony and tolerance. Why? Because there are various sects and these sects are against to each other. These beliefs are fighting to each other. And to resolve all these, Ashoka uh, tried to spread the Dhamma. He devised this policy on his own, though the catalyzing factor was the remorse that he felt due to the outcomes of the bloody Kalinga war. Now, next. At that time, the founder of Mauryan Empire, Chandragupta, adopted Jainism. Second king Bindusara adopted Ajivak sect. Third, Ashoka adopted Buddhism. So obviously, all kings patronized various sects or various religions. At that time, that monks the monks are promoted by the kings. Kings developed various religious structures, and when new king adopt the new sect, so obviously the old one was not happy, and this creates the tension in society in various monks in the followers of that particular sect. To resolve all these things, Ashoka adopted the policy of Dhamma. Okay. So the society in his time, that means Ashoka's time, encompassed various beliefs, cultural, social, political practices. Ashoka rather than using force used to policy of Dhamma to set social norms that would be acceptable to all. With the rise of heterodox sects like Ajivak Buddhism and Jainism and the potential conflicts with the orthodox Brahmanism, so a climate of mutual trust and harmony was needed. So Dhamma was need of that particular time of need of the hour. That's why Ashoka has to adopt this. Now, what was Dhamma? What was the policy of Dhamma? What are the basis of that Dhamma? So it focused on the general behavior of people. Dhamma stressed tolerance of people themselves and their beliefs and ideas. We can see the same thing in the above question. It emphasized the moral behavior towards elders, slavers, servants, brahmanas, and shramanas. Shramanas means the Jain monk, animals, etc. The policy of Dhamma laid stress on non-violence and welfare measures. So, with this great policy, he can easily resolve the problems and tensions of the society without using any power. Okay. Rock Addict 13. There are 14 addicts. We will go with them, which mention the Kalinga War is a testament against war. Now, to spread the above teachings, Ashoka's proper appointing Dhamma Mahamatya. Mahamatya means you can say the officers or the ministers. Rather than using Samha, proves that his Dhamma did not discriminate against any religious doctrine. Well, then you can say these edicts were used to communicate between the king and his subjects, that means the citizens. So now what are these edicts or inscriptions? So there are 15 or 14 major rock edicts. Rock edict means this type of rock edicts. Okay. Inscriptions are a great stone. So there are total 14. The location of these are mentioned. These edicts were inscribed on the frontiers of Ashoka's territory. Frontier means the border area, and not in the heartland of the Mauryan Empire. Languages. So Ashoka used three languages as they are installed in the border areas or frontiers. So the local what was the local language? Ashoka used that. For example, Prakrit language, Aramaic language, and Greek language. These three uses in generally the whole North India. And then he uses two scripts. One is Brahmi and one is Kharoshti. Brahmi is used in the India. Kharoshti is in the northwestern India, the frontier region. Now, each edict have various subjects. For example, just we discussed about the rock edict 13. So, the 13 is it is crucial for comprehending the Ashoka Dhamma policy. Rock edict pleads for conquest by Dhamma instead of war. It mentions Ashoka's victory over Kalinga. Now, just before that, we read the question that in which edict the Kalinga war mentioned. Rock edict 13. So, question can be formed like this from these edicts. Okay. Killing animals, denounce fame and glory. Ceremonies carried out by mothers and wives are condemned. He attacked ceremonies performed after birth, illness, marriage, and before setting out for a journey. That means why you want to waste your money if you are a normal, average, or poor person. If you are very rich, then waste your money or then enjoy all each and every event, your birthday, your anniversary, each and every event. But if you are lack of basic needs and you using the money on these various rituals, that means society can be various types. There are poor also, rich persons also. So then in eighth edict, It stated about the Dhamma Yatras or the tours, and also mentioned about the Ashoka's first visit to Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya is the place where Lord Buddha uh, gained enlightenment. Okay, so these edicts provide the detail. You have to remember these edicts, and then minor edict means the small stones. Okay, so the minor edicts are. One more thing. Each and every pillar edict have any idol on the top. Generally, pillars are placed on a great foundation. Then, pillars have various imperial orders, and in the front of pillars, on the top of the pillar, sorry, there was a opposite lotus. You can see this. So the lotus blown like this, but they placed that in the opposite shape for a great background. And on that opposite lotus there was again a platform, and then there was a uh, any animal, one lion, two lion, elephants, four lion, and from one of those we just adopted our national symbol which consisted the four lions. You can found that symbol on each and every government notes. Okay, so the minor rock addict we are talking about after the major. So generally this is the places where they found, though they are not much important compared to the 14 major rock addict. So you have to aware about the 14 major rock addict, but you can go with them. Okay, then the pillar addict is important. Pillar addict is very important. There are, I think, seven important pillar addicts. So you have to must go with them. Seven major pillar addicts are the most detailed and the technically sound of all the inscriptions. They placed on various locations in various places of the country. Language, as I told, Prakrit with Brahmi script, and Aramaic language in Afghanistan. Then the subjects of these pillar edicts are, so enforced Ashoka's principles for the production of people. Just I told you that Ashoka thought that all are my child, all citizens are my child. Second, defines Dhamma with compassion, truthfulness, virtue, not any religious practice. Compassion is a human religion, is a human Dhamma. Truthfulness is a human value, virtue. Next is Ashoka asked subject to control violence, cruelty, anger, and envy. He also inscripted about the duties and responsibilities of Rajukas. Rajukas are the officers who measure the land. That means there can be some part of corruption. Ashoka face, and he know that Rajukas is the very important post. How he measure the land, that will decide the revenue. So first important for the revenue, and the second thing, if they are doing any wrong thing, the common people, that is the farmers, become revolts, or they can develop the revolts. Then in fifth, list of birds and animals to be killed on certain days and not be killed at all. That means at that time there is a ritual when on a certain day or on a certain occasion some animals or birds were killed. That means sacrificed. In sixth, the policy of Dhamma, basically as we told here, the compassion, truthfulness. And then in the last, described all sects' desire for self-control and purity of mind. That means he tries to resolve the conflict between various sects. Okay. Then I will show you an image of a great, where is the, Oh, maybe image. Yes, here is the image. See, this is Saranatha. Okay, there are four lions on this top of the platform, and this is the opposite lotus or lotus on the lower side. Then a platform which have four chakras in each and every direction. These chakras are symbolize the Lord Buddha's dharma chakra pravartan. I told you in the Buddhism, when Buddha attained the enlightenment or knowledge, then he make his first sermon or first lecture in Saranatha, and that event is known as the turning of the wheel of law or dharma chakra pravartan. So this is symbolize that particular event. So there are uh, chakra in each and every direction and four loins, and there are some animals also. You can see a humped bull on this image, and later this became our national symbol. This chakra became the part of our national flag. Okay, so this is another map of addicts. This is the Kangan Halli inscription. Just question asked where the word mentioned Ranyu Ashoka. That means the Raja Ashoka. Okay. This is the actual pillar, Sarnath pillar. Later, this part was removed from that. Okay, and which will become our national symbol. Well, so these are this is the description of the Mauryan Empire. What is important? First thing is the chronological order. Second thing is administration, economy, revenue, important officers, provinces of the Mauryan Empire. And third thing is Ashoka, Ashoka's Dhamma, inscriptions, sources. These three topics easily can be covered the whole Mauryan Empire. Mauryan Empire is one of the most important kingdom of India, as it was the first kingdom in the ancient India who generally covered the maximum part of India. All we can say the all India level kingdom. Okay. Now, the important thing is that after declining of Mauryan Empire, for the next 500 years, how much? For the next 500 years. That means after 184 BC to towards the 3rd century AD. Now India haven't any bigger or major kingdom, and that's why as Mauryan Empire become weaker, the king became kings are less eligible. So the benefit of the weakening of the central India is taken by foreigners. Now two type of development we can see in this timing. After the Mauryan period, this is known as the post-Mauryan or later Mauryan. This is N, later Mauryan phase. And in the later Mauryan phase, we found two type of developments. Number one, regional and small powers. So these are some regional powers. One is Shunga dynasty, Kanva dynasty. After the Mauryan, Shunga dynasty formed the Pushyamitra Shunga, who was the chief commander of the Maurya last ruler Brihadratha. He killed the Brihadratha, and Pushyamitra Shunga developed the Shunga dynasty, and he ruled till around next 4 decades. Okay, from 184 BC to 75 BC around. Then they were replaced by another dynasty named Kanva dynasty. And at the same time, another dynasty raised in the far east in Odisha or the Kalinga region, Chedi dynasty in Kalinga region. Mahameghavarman was leading this dynasty. And in the far south, around the Maharashtra and then later Andhra, there was another great kingdom developed named as Satvahana. But these all are Indian powers. So they fulfill the Mauryans. But at the same time, there was foreign invasion as well. So second development or political development in post-Mauryan phase was foreign invasion. So during the before the Mauryans, we saw two types of invasion. One is from Persia, one is from Greek. But now these invasions are from various direction and from various many tribes: Greeks, Bactrians, Persians, Shaka, Kushans, etc. So in the next class, we will read about both of these regional powers and then the foreign invasion and what will be the impact of this. Some of these invaders became the proper Indian, like Kanishka. Okay, so we will read about all of them in the next lecture. Thank you. Have a good day.